Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Tsai from learnbyblogging.com. Today, I want to give you a book review of this book called The Botany of Desire by Michael Pollan. Uh, all this time, I thought I was the center of the universe for those plants in my garden. It turns out that I was being manipulated by the plants to propagate their genes, no different than the bees and the insects that pollinate them. Michael Pollan in this book actually provides the perspectives from the plant's view, and the author offers very good impelling stories for four specific plants: apples, tulips, marijuana, and potato. So in apples, we look for sweetness. In tulips, we saw beauty. And marijuana, we crave for intoxication. And in potato, we choose to control. So we're going to go into each one of those four different plants. And I also looked at the DVD section, a DVD version of this book, which is quite enjoyable. Seeing the pictures is worth 1,000 words, like I say. The audiobooks also make my commute a real breeze, so it's very interesting too. Quick summary here for number one, apples, which is looking for sweetness. So in pursuit of sweetness, which is very hard to come by in the early days, people planted apples to make hard cider, which is fermented alcoholic drink. They are using that as a safe drink instead of the contaminated water in those days. So the story of Johnny Appleseed or Johnny Chapman, and how this bum in those days planted and sold apple trees grown from seeds in the 19th century. Those stories are very interesting. And also the evolution of apples from its origin in Kazakhstan sounded like a very heroic journey for an apple, for a plant. And as a lover of apple, I found apple story very intriguing. And many variety of apples, mostly not sweet, they were found in this origin. And yet mostly turns out we only consume a very small subset of apple species, like my favorite Fuji apples and Golden Delicious. The lack of genetic diversity was due to the fact that the modern apples are mostly grafted, and because really apple do not grow true from seeds. So what is wrong with Johnny Appleseeds? And he actually was growing from seeds. So he might be, according to the story, he's the one that's advocating the genetic diversity. And so the chapter 2 is about tulips and the beauty of it. I found it hard to believe that until the recent century, flowers were not appreciated, according to the author, and they were considered as pointless, not edible. Why would you need a flower? It's probably limited to the Western culture. I don't find that very believing. But the author went into a great detail about the tulip maniac that was in Holland, that was infected with the special virus that gave out a very strange color pattern. Very interesting twist. And another one is that 200 million ago, there were no flowers. Hard to believe. The advent of flower created interest for the pollinator, which upon being gratified will do the legwork for the plants. So how convenient is evolution? Marijuana, number 3, chapter 3, or the third plant, is about intoxication. I learned a lot about the law and how it deals with all the legacy, the legality of using marijuana, especially in Holland, and also learn about the differences between indica and sativa. These are two species that produce very different properties of psychoactivities in the human quest to grow marijuana indoors. And due to the unfavorable law, people are moving toward indica instead of sativa. Indica grow a little bit smaller, and sativa gets very, very tall. So it doesn't grow well in the indoor environment. So the author encountered with the local police chief while growing the marijuana plant in the back. That was absolutely hilarious. And the political and legal pendulum of using marijuana since these days, back and forth, added some spice to the evolution of the plant, of this particular plant in our society. And in most of the human history, the psychoactive drugs or plants or the THC in marijuana play a very important role, especially in the arts and the music and literature and even religion. As we often hear about celebrity abuse of drugs and overdose and all that, I just found it fascinating that that marijuana actually does chemically what marijuana does chemically to allow us to forget. And so the effect of the marijuana, the chemical inside of the marijuana actually is to allow us to forget pains, forget painful experience. And I guess it's a form of numbing that really make us less stressed and more high, I guess, and happier. So interesting concept. When you forget more, you tend to be happy. I guess people who are forgetful tend to be happier. And number 4, that leads to the last plant is about is potato. Is about control. In this section, the author touched a very in generic engineering, such as the GMO, the trade name of New Leaf, which is a slips of rosette potato that's capable of producing a natural BT. BT is the one that I use the same BT to kill worms that eat my plants, especially leafy plants. But this particular case actually killed the potato beetle. So historically, the rise of potato, due to the ease of planting, has brought prosperity to Ireland in the 18th century. And as a result, there was a famine as a result of one particular fungi that killed off the monoculture potato crop within a week. That was rather dramatic, the underlining author's point that the danger of the monoculture for all the crops and all crops. So since McDonald's uses only the rosette potato to make their famous French fries, so the risks of growing this type of potatoes are very high for pest invasion and their pesticide resistance. So we can all learn from the original South American who domesticated potatoes, and they planted multiple kinds of potato, different biodiversity for best disease control and the pest control. So very interesting read about these four plants. The DVD was good. The books was entertaining. I really enjoyed Michael Pollan's book in the previous books that I've read. In fact, he is the one that introduced me, that got me interested in gardening. So I really appreciate this Michael Pollan. And another enjoyable book. By all means, go read them. Go read the book. All right. Hope that you enjoy this review. Please click like and subscribe to my channel, and also subscribe to my learnbyblogging.com. Thank you very much for listening.